The Chicago Bulls got themselves a victory last night versus the Phoenix Suns. And while it was fun for one night, did the Chicago Bulls just lessen the chances of their lottery odds? Y'all know we got to talk about the Chicago Bulls lottery odds shrinking and what it means. But does it really matter for the Chicago Bulls? Y'all know we going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hit the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, ready to talk Bulls basketball, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hey, what can I say? We did not show up for the live call, but watching the game, hey, it was a good game, at least for one night. The Chicago Bulls getting a 105-103 victory over the Phoenix Suns, who are fighting for pretty much a playoff spot. They're currently in the play-in, and the Chicago Bulls, without Josh Giddey and Montes Buzelis, came out and had themselves a really good night. When just real quick going over the game, some of the highlights that I enjoyed was Yuki, the man. If Yuki was 6'2", he'll be a starting point guard, at least in my opinion. The man vision is crazy. And even at his size, seeing him defend and put on for the short guys, we got to go out there and celebrate it. I got to go out there and give Yuki some love. No, he did not score points, but man, did he go out there and play some good offensive basketball? Maybe that's just me, though. But hey, it is what it is. Rob Dillingham has some good moments throughout the game as well. Definitely has some plays that you still be like, yep, that's why we still need you to go out there and envelop. And that's why I've been calling to see Rob Dillingham a little bit more so we can continue on in his development. He scored 11 points, had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and had 2 turnovers. And then one of them turnovers was just a horrible play from the corner that he tried to squeak in a pass to one of the big men. Another guy, Gershon Yabusele, bro. Ever since he came over to the Chicago Bulls, I've liked this game. He's just a different type of player. You could tell that he's a professional basketball player. Gave the Chicago Bulls 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And man, does the man come with some fire? And a man that was the man of the night outside of Trey Jones, because Trey Jones had himself a really good night and had a really, really smart basketball play at the end of the game to where they're fighting for possession and the ball falls in his hands and he just throws it up in the air to run out the clock. Very, very high IQ play by Trey Jones, and y'all know we love him. But the guy last night was Colin Sexton. Dropped 30 points, had 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and man, he had a pretty good game. Just came with fire. He was attacking downhill, got a couple 3-point shots to go in, and it was a good game to watch, at least for the night. For my tankers out there, for everybody, including myself, would be like, can we get in the top 4? Last night wins makes it a lot difficult for the Chicago Bulls when it comes to the lottery odds. The lottery odds are still in place, but they could potentially be shrinking for the Chicago Bulls to land in the top 4. We know it's a long shot in getting to get in the number 1 spot, but we know that the odds of landing in the top 4 is on the line. It sounds a bit crazy, but it is what it is. Last night's win, the Chicago Bulls in the win column is now tied with the Milwaukee Bucks, who sit in the 10th spot, and the Chicago Bulls sit in the 9th spot. With the 9th spot, the Chicago Bulls currently hold a 20.3% chance to land in the top 4. If they continue to win games and the Milwaukee Bucks continue to lose games, the Chicago Bulls will drop into that 10th spot, and the odds of landing in the top 4 will go from 20.3% to 13.9%, and the chances of landing the number 1 spot will go from 4.5% to 3%. Take that for what you will. Some people may be like, it is what it is. Some people may say, what the hell we doing? I'm on the side of, I'm never going to apologize for winning basketball games. That's just how I look at it. But at the same time, when I look at the overall picture, I am a little like, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? But I also have ran through the scenarios of there's a fan experience and there's the actual player experience. Players don't want to lose 11 in a row. That's just the reality of it. The fan experience with us turning on our TVs, watching on our phone or whatever electronic device, we like, man, what the hell y'all doing winning games? There is a difference in how everyone involved is going to feel from the fan perspective and from the players, coach, and organization perspective. There's going to be a number of things that change or at least try to force us into a different position. So the odds are shrinking. The odds are shrinking. Or at least right now, we're still good. The next 5 games for the Chicago Bulls as it currently stand, they are going up against the Kings, the Warriors, the Lakers, the Clippers, and then Memphis in their next 5 games. While the Milwaukee Bucks, who has Giannis Antetokounmpo playing, which is a superstar that we don't have on this, on this current basketball team. Their next 5 games include games versus the Jazz starting tomorrow, then the Magic, the Suns, Miami, and the Hawks. We still have games to go, so that thing can either increase with the win-loss column compared to ours and the Milwaukee Bucks, or it can shrink and we switch spots with the Milwaukee Bucks. There's some games left to see what the Chicago Bulls are gonna do, but I would imagine, at least from the Chicago Bulls point, they really don't give a damn because they're gonna go out there and try to play Montes Buzelis. They're gonna play Josh Giddey. We just seen Josh Giddey twist his ankle, and then Josh Giddey returned to the basketball game, and that was a head scratching decision from Billy Donovan that I necessarily didn't agree with, because my mindset is, if a guy goes out, if it's not looking good because you've seen that he was hobbled when he came back on the basketball court, you sit him down. There's a fine line for this team trying to win basketball games and protecting their assets. And protecting the assets is not just trying to get the best odds in the lottery. Protecting the assets is keeping Josh Giddey healthy enough to where he doesn't have to go through an offseason of rehabilitation. Same thing goes for guys like Montes Buzelis. That's the same thing. But the biggest question that we got to ask ourselves is, does it really matter to the Bulls if the odds are shrinking? Again, it matters a lot to us because we want to see the Chicago Bulls get the highest pick possible. And who knows? These are just chances. There is a reality where you can potentially stay in the same spot. But we know when there are more lottery balls in that jug spinning before a ball is selected, we want more balls. Pause. That's what we want. We want as many of the Chicago Bulls lottery balls in that damn machine as possible to see if we can move up. Because I know me, as much as I say I ain't gonna apologize for winning, if we get number 1, I'm going crazy. If we get top 4, I'm going crazy. All that said, and I know it's a bit contradictory, but at the same time, hey, we need some more talent up in here. We need some more talent in here. And I will say, hey, we need to go out there and make sure we don't go on no 5-game winning streak. That will kind of, tick me off a little bit. I'm not even going to hold you. That'll tick me off a little bit. But if we get a win here and now, right now 2-1 in March, yeah, we need to go ahead and be under the 500 mark when it comes to wins and losses in March. That's just my personal opinion. But nonetheless, the Chicago Bulls, the way that they could potentially be looking at this is pretty much saying that, hey, they don't really care what we think. They just have the mindset of, we have a draft pick And really, if we considering it, they could potentially be feeling like they're getting 2 draft picks this season. And one of them is the actual lottery pick that they're going to get in the 2026 draft. And then on another hand, they can feel that Noah Essengate, who hasn't played for the Chicago Bulls in a while, he can be an additional draft pick. The chances of the Portland pick coming to the Chicago Bulls are very, very slim. And they feel like they could potentially feel like, I don't know what the hell they be thinking half the time. So I'm not even going to try to act like I know. But they could potentially be feeling like we have our own draft pick. We have money that's going to be available to us. Right now, it's currently, predicted by SpotRack that these guys could potentially have $69 million available to them over the offseason to disperse to unrestricted free agents and restricted free agents. And when we look at some of those restricted free agents who could potentially be a Chicago Bull if the Chicago Bulls submit offers, those are guys like Walker Kessler, Tari Eason, Benedict Mathurin, and Mark Williams, who can come help the Chicago Bulls if their respective teams do not match. So it's a thing that the Chicago Bulls could be potentially looking at. And we know the head coach that we're dealing with, he's going to go out there and try to win basketball games. That's just how he is. He keeps saying it to us. I know we want certain things, but Billy Donovan is the guy that's going to place the players on the actual basketball court to go out there and give us basket to at least show us something that he could potentially do for this team. It is about development in my mind. That's why I don't really get caught up in or ticked off, at least at this current juncture, of they on a 11-game loser streak. Yeah, it sucked at that time. Yeah, at times I didn't want to watch the shit. But at the end of the day, it was about, let me see what Rob Dillingham could do. Let me see how Montes Buzelis do with more opportunities and things like that. So while we care about the lottery, the Bulls could be giving us the middle finger and say, do your best job, Billy, which has already been mentioned in the media. They want Billy Donovan to go out there and do his best job. And what did Billy Donovan do yesterday? He gave Yuki some minutes. He gave Rob Dillingham some minutes. And then, I was waiting in the fourth quarter to be like, damn, is Rob coming back? He said, no, Colin, you hot. Trey Jones, you good. Yabusele, you hooping. Get y'all ass out there and win this basketball game. I thought they was going to squander the game, but nah, them boys wanted that win. And you can tell that the way that those players feel is way different than how we feel. They want to go out there and actually try to win basketball games. And I have to respect it. What they do, it's not going to line up with how majority of Chicago Bulls fans feel. Now, will there be a case to where AK or Mark Eversley call in and say, hey, Billy, sit their ass down? Potentially, I don't know. Maybe they wait later in the season to do what they did last year, and in a game to where I believe it was against the Cleveland Cavaliers, to where the Bulls could have showed up. They sat their players and still lost to the Miami Heat. And still lost. You had an opportunity to better your positioning for a play-in matchup, and you just sat your players, and you still lost. So the same thing could be here. They could be saying F the positioning, at least right now, until they get to the latter part of the schedule. And then they say, all right, Josh Giddey, you're done. Montes Buzelis, you're done. Let's see the other guys. But I don't know. But right now, as it currently stands, I believe that it doesn't really matter right now, at least over the last 3 games, to the Chicago Bulls, what the lottery odds are looking like. I just don't think they care. That's just my personal opinion. And it is what it is. I'm still going to go out there and rock for the team. I understand what's at stake. But at the end of the day, like I always say, I may not always like it, but I'm not going to apologize for winning. And I know them players, the way that they celebrated after that victory, they're not going to apologize either. Guys was out there clapping hands, doing handshakes, coming off the bench, yelling and stuff after that victory. They want to win basketball games. It's going to be different than how we feel. They don't give a fuck about the lottery pick. And that's just the reality of it. But hey, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. We know the next 5 coming up for the Bulls is some stuff that's out there. The Kings, that's the worst team in the league right now, who has the number 1 spot for the best odds. Then Golden State, who's up and down. Lakers, Clippers. hey, they fighting for playoffs. And Memphis, they even in the lottery odds too, and trying to get the best pick that they could potentially get. So it's gonna be one of them things to where, hey, we're gonna keep our eyes on the odds. We're gonna keep our eyes on the team to see who's developing, and we'll decide on, and we'll see what chips fall by the end of the season, man. But the odds are shrinking. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about it all, man, because that is it from me. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. Before y'all get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. We appreciate y'all. Try to see red, and y'all already know we're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
Cognac. Gang.